Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another episode of the MMA Show. Thanks again for tuning in. If you are new here, then welcome. If you are a recurring listener, then thank you so much for coming back and tuning in once again. As always, if you guys haven't, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I will gladly appreciate it. If you want, you can also leave a comment, leave a like. Tell me how you feel in the comments, man. I've been telling you guys that a lot lately. I come on here and I talk a lot of shit and I make predictions about, what could happen and shit like that, who could fight who and what's going on. And sometimes, sometimes I can make big stretches. So let me know, like, hey, you're actually making some sense, or let me know you're a fucking idiot, please, because I really, really want to know. But yeah. Thanks again. Hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful day. We had a decent fight over the weekend of Cyril Gane and Spivak. It was a UFC Fight Night. It was UFC Paris. So, Cyril Gane took the dub. It was tough, man, because Cyril Gane is in a bad position right now because he already lost to both of the one former champion and then lost to the current champion. Which is John Jones, and the other one being Francis Ngannou. So he's at a tough spot right now because he has beat absolutely everyone else. I mean, he fought Spivak, won. He fought Derek Lewis, won. He fought Tai Tuivasa, won. Right? It's just that when he got to that championship level, he just fell short, man. So it's tough as far as what he is going to do next. I think Spivak was ranked number 7 or is ranked number 7 now, and Cyril Gane is ranked number 1, so he's number 1 after John Jones. So I don't know. I mean, there could be good fights there for him still. Sergey, I think it's a good fight for him. Tom Aspinall, that would be a good fight actually. Cyril Gane versus Tom Aspinall to do an interim maybe. And I'm saying interim because there is rumors that John Jones is going to retire after he fights Stipe Miocic. So if he does end up retiring and the UFC doesn't have an interim belt, then I think the fight to make there will be Cyril Gane versus Tom Aspinall. I think that's a really good fight. Tom Aspinall, though, he's ranked number 4. So yeah, that's a good fight right there. Because I was gonna say, someone there in the mix could be Tai Tuivasa, but he already fought Cyril Gane and lost to Stipe Miocic. I don't know if he's going to retire too after the John Jones fight, but he's currently ranked number 3. So, if he stays, maybe he could be in that mix too. But again, Cyril Gane, he has beat absolutely everyone that he has fought except for the 2 champs, which is Francis and John Jones. So he's in a tough spot, man. But, hopefully he can relax for a while, take a little break, be with some family, and then get back to the gym. And then hopefully he fights maybe earlier next year. I really like when Cyril Gane fights. He's a really fucking good technical fighter. He's great to watch. He's not like it's weird because he doesn't have like knockout power, right? But he will fucking piece you up throughout the fight, and he can also TKO you. So that's pretty good right there. So yeah, man, for him, it's just a matter of waiting. I think what happens with John Jones, we're going to have to see how that plays out when John Jones fights Stipe Miocic, which I don't know. When are they fighting? They're fighting UFC 295, which is November 11th. So we still got some time for that. But again, that's going to determine a little bit what's next for Cyril Gane, right? I'm trying to think of other possibilities, right? If John Jones doesn't retire, what did they do? No. I'm not even gonna mention it, bro. A rematch, no. I don't know, man. It just depends. It's in the air right now. I think we just have to wait and see because it's a lot of ifs. If John Jones retires, then he can defend the belt against someone like Tom Aspinall or someone like Tai Tuivasa, maybe, or Sergey. But if he doesn't retire, then I think Cyril Gane is the no-brainer for the interim. Or not interim, sorry. I said interim earlier. I apologize for just a champ, right? It'll be a vacant title. So they'll most likely just do a regular. It wouldn't be an interim. But yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see on John Jones' decision and also on Stipe's decision because if he doesn't retire, he's still going to be ranked number 3 or 4 probably. So he could be there in the mix, man. He just probably, will need a little bit more time to recover because he would have just fought. But that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But, good shit to Cyril Gane for pulling that W. Definitely not Izzy. Izzy. Definitely not easy. But yeah, good shit for him. And this weekend, we have one of the GOATs coming back to the octagon, none other than Mr. Adesanya. By the way, nobody talks about how fucking active Israel is, in my opinion. I think he's by far the most active champion, for sure. I mean, you have people like Volk. Volk's pretty active too. But other than that, man, everyone fights kind of like once or twice a year. Charles was pretty active when he was champion too. John Jones, I guess he was trying to be active, but obviously his thing is mainly not having opponents, pretty much, right? Because Francis retired and he already beat Cyril Gane, and being the GOAT, you just don't want to give him any guy, right? Any just random guy. You want to really give him someone that's going to sell pay-per-views and be a good match. So I don't think John Jones would have fought like any other lower level guy waiting for either Cyril or Francis or Stipe. I think Stipe is a perfect option for John Jones, obviously because of the big name, former champ, and considered one of the best, if not the best, heavyweight of all time. But Izzy, very, very active guy. I mean, he's already fought, 3 times this year? 2 times? Oh, wait, never mind. This will be his second fight of the year. I apologize. He fought Pereira in November of last year. And then April. Still, from April to September, that's a good turnaround. That's pretty good. I think he always used to fight 3 times, but I think because of the loss, that kind of threw him off his game. If he would have defeated Pereira back in November, he probably would have fought earlier in the year, maybe like March or February, and then fight again maybe in July again. But who knows? You never know. But still, very active champ. Glad to see him coming back, man. I will say this, it is tough to beat Izzy. I mean, no one has ever definitively, other than Alex, no one has ever definitely beat Izzy. So for Sean to come around and I got hopes for him. Obviously, it's MMA, anything could happen, man. But, Izzy is just fucking Izzy. Izzy is that guy. He's that good, bro. He's that good. He's got, in my opinion, he's got way more tools than Sean to win. Sean, he's a good boxer. He's a really, really good boxer. But as far as striking-wise, he's not at Izzy's level. Not a chance, dude. Not a chance. He's got good combos. Where I think Sean, watching some of his older fights, he has good advantages. He's got really good boxing combos. He's got 1, 2, 3s, throws really good shit and hits you with it and tags you with it. And over the fight, again, he's not either a KO guy, but he will box you down, and that's his method. But I just don't see how that is going to be enough to beat Izzy. Like, it is tough, bro. I mean, if you want to talk striking-wise, Alex KO'd Izzy, but then, we know what happened in the second fight. And even the first fight, Alex was losing the fight. So you can say striking-wise, like as far as being consistent, Izzy's the best. As far as constant striking throughout the fight. Alex, excuse me, Alex was better at delivering the KO punch, right? But all around striking for a 5-round fight, Izzy is the best, is the absolute best at that. I don't see Sean, honestly, having an answer for that. I see him landing some jabs, landing a couple of calf kicks, but that's it. I don't really see what is he going to do. I mean, is he going to wrestle Izzy? Well, we know Izzy has somewhat good defense, actually, right? Because he couldn't get out wrestled by Vettori. He couldn't get out wrestled by Costa. Who else? I think that's pretty much it. He couldn't really get out wrestled by those guys. The only guy that kind of out wrestled him was heavier than him, which was when he challenged for the title at light heavyweight. So it's complicated. It's complicated. Sean is in a really tough spot right now. I don't think he's the guy that the UFC wanted for this event. I don't think he necessarily deserves this title shot either. I think he needs I needed at least 2 more wins to get a title shot, but that's what happens when you get a champion like Izzy, man. And I've been saying this the whole time. With Kamaru, it was the same. With Charles Oliveira, was starting a little bit. He was getting that dominant where he beats all the top prospects. All the top 5 he has beat. Charles Oliveira beat all the top 5 guys. Israel Adesanya has beat all the top 10 guys almost, man. So it's tough to find good, worthy opponents for that. You're not getting here a top class, 2 world class strikers, 2 number 1 versus number 2. You're not getting that right now. You're not getting best of the best fight right now because of Sean. Sean is currently ranked number 5, really, but that being said, it is MMA and it is anything could happen, right? Sean could shock the entire fucking world and knock the fuck out of Izzy in the first round. That could happen. And, if that happens, holy shit, then, fuck, it is what it is. But realistically speaking, the way these fights go for Izzy, this is not his Alex. Alex was, had history with him. Alex, we knew he was elite at what he did, and we knew that he already had wins over Izzy. Very few times Izzy has fought someone that people say, okay, this is going to be a even fight, right? That never happened until Alex. It was always, we knew Izzy was going to steamroll everyone, right? And then in the first Alex fight, it was like, oh shit, hold on, this guy actually could do something, right? To find a chink in the champ's armor, right? The undefeated champ's armor, right? And he did, right? And that's why it didn't really was so much of a shock him, because it wasn't like just some random, ranked number 10 guy who got the fight last minute, probably, shocking, making a major upset. It wasn't a major upset, in my opinion, because of the history they had and because of the decorated career that Alex had in striking. In kickboxing, we knew this guy could put lights out to everyone, right? Sean Strickland doesn't have that, unfortunately. And I'm not saying he can't win, because like I said, anything could happen, bro. And I like Sean Strickland. I'm a fan of him outside of the octagon. I used to think he was fucking nuts. I used to think he was crazy. But then I listened to the JRE podcast with him, and he's actually not too fucking crazy, bro. He's actually kind of smart. A lot of the shit he says kind of makes sense once you start to really dissect it. Or maybe I'm just as crazy as he am. I don't know. But yeah, regardless though, I think it's going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be entertaining. But I do think it's going to be very one-sided. I think it's going to be very, very one-sided as far as the striking goes and pretty much everything MMA-wise. And I'll give you my official prediction for this fight. I think it's going to be Izzy for sure by either decision, winning, 4 out of 5 rounds, or it's going to be Izzy by TKO round 3. I think round 3 Izzy can get it done. I think Sean really needs to do a good job at, if you watch the Alex fight, with the one with Izzy, because Alex, already defeated both these guys actually. He knocked the fuck out of Sean. But if you watch the fight with Izzy and Alex, and you're eventually gonna be facing Izzy, right? You're looking for his weaknesses, right? And what did we find? It was the calf kick. That was his weakness. We don't know if that's his, overall weakness. It could have been his weakness just for that fight. Maybe he has trained now to maybe check those better or something. But we know that's what worked against him for that fight, right? And that crippled his standing. He couldn't do a lot of the shit he's used to doing, right? So I think Sean has to look at that and say, okay, maybe I have something there. Maybe I can start with some calf kicks and then throw some combos on top. I think that's a good game plan for Sean. Throw some calf kicks and then some combos on top. And then just try to not get hit. Try to not get hit for sure. Try to always be bobbing and weaving. You don't want to do what you did against the Alex fight, Sean, which is just fucking keep your hands right here, bro. You're like, nah, bro. Like, I get it. That's how you fight, but bro, You have to keep your hands up, brother. You know what I mean? And with Izzy, you can't really just not be covering up because he is a master at covering at feints. You know, he will feint something and then just throw something completely different. So you gotta really gotta be careful with that. If you get caught with your hand up, with your hand down, sorry, against Izzy, and he's throwing some fucking amazing kick or some shit like that, bro. People forget. I mean, Izzy is also a decorated kickboxer. I don't think people forget, but you know, he's a kickboxer. He'll knock your ass out. So you definitely don't want to be in that spot if Izzy Adesanya it's throwing something and you have your hands down. You know, that's definitely not a good spot to be in. But you know, that's my official prediction. Again, I'm not any type of expert, so please make any bets or anything at your own risk. I do not take any responsibility for any results. Anyways, now moving on, we have another fight of that card is Tai Tuivasa versus Alexander Volkov. Interesting fight. I think Tai Tuivasa, let's see, he's ranked number, what was it? Number 6. And Alexander Volkov is currently unranked. Oh no, he's number 7. So we're getting a number 6 versus number 7 fight, it should be pretty interesting. It should be high level. You know, I'm a huge Tai Tuivasa fan, so I'm rooting for him. I think he's very fucking dangerous on the feet, bro. I think he'll knock your ass out for sure. He's a knockout artist. That's his main thing with him. He'll stand up there and bang with you if he has to. He'll, you know, just fucking take shots to hit you. He's willing to get hurt to hurt you. So even if you have him hurt, even if you wobble him, that's when he's also at his most dangerous. If you remember the fight he had against Ciryl Gane wobbled the shit out of him and talked him back with the fucking nasty hook and almost won the fight. So he's dangerous all around on the feet right now. I'm assuming that Alexander, it's more of a wrestler, although I do know he can strike. He actually, you know what? I'd say that back. He TKO'd his last 2 opponents, which was Romanov and Rosenstruck. So he is a striker. He can strike too. So I apologize for what I said. He lost to Tom Aspinall for a submission. And before that, he had 2 unanimous, and then he lost via TKO. So he, you know, he's got a little bit of both, a little bit of TKOs mostly. So that should be an interesting fight, man. I don't know how really elite this guy is striking, but you know, he must be really good if he is in the top 7 of the division. And you know, looking at his record right now, you know, he lost to Tom Aspinall last year in March, and just kind of reminds me that Tom Aspinall right now could have probably already challenged for the title if it wasn't for his injury. He was on a really good run. He had defeated Volkov, you know, and then he got hurt against Curtis Blades. So it was really unfortunate. That was last year in July, but then he came back and won this July. He defeated Tiberia. So I'm excited for Tom Aspinall because he's right there. Currently, he's ranked number 4. So I think one more good fight for him could really put him in a good title shot. Like I said, my prediction, if John Jones retires, and I'll talk about this more also when that fight happens, the November fight. But that week I'll break it down. But if John Jones retires, then the next fight to make for the belt would be Tom Aspinall versus Ciryl Gane. There's no other fight. There's absolutely no other fight. And if John Jones doesn't retire, then a title defense versus Tom Aspinall, I think, would be awesome. Would be really, really awesome. Sorry, I sidetracked a little bit for the Thai fight. For my prediction, I will give it to Tai Tuivasa. I think he's a better striker, more explosive and more power, more KO power. He will win. It's 3 rounds, right? I think he'll be when TKO round 1. I'm going to say that. Or you know what? KO round 1 is going to knock out this dude right here. So that's my official prediction for today. Another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is, this whole Conor McGregor versus Chandler situation. I mean, what is going on, dude? Like, what is going on? We're just not getting an answer, and a reporter or someone asked Dana White in one of the press conference, I think it was for UFC, the last UFC 292, I believe it was, right? Someone asked him, like, hey, what's up with Conor McGregor? Is he going to come back in December? And then McGregor tweeted, something about fighting in December, but it wasn't like official. And Dana White said it was fake. So I'm going to just go out on a limb here and say most likely we're not going to get McGregor and Chandler in December. I mean, for that to happen, some miracle would have to, happen for McGregor. I think he's been held back by USADA, which I got into a little bit of a rabbit hole the other day about also USADA and how, technically they're still allowing fighters to steroids and how they choose favorites for some people. So I don't know if it's true. I have no idea at all, because you have people saying like, oh, USADA, they might let this guy slide in, but not this other guy. But who knows, man? It's really, we're not gonna know. And the main thing is, the main thing that makes me curious, it's Izzy. And I don't know if Izzy actually has he does have a response for this, right? When he fought and he had the gyno in his chest, and everyone saw that was steroids. It's one of those things that, like, well, we're seeing it. We're seeing the result of what happens, and we know that's a common thing when it comes to taking steroids, is you get gyno. Or I think, I don't know if I don't know too much about that, so I apologize, but I think it's something where you take it and then you stop taking it. That's one of the side effects when you get gyno. Because obviously while you're taking it, it's, to maybe build strength and build muscle, but maybe to recover. I don't know. A lot of these guys, I think, take things not to grow and not to be stronger, but they take things to recover. I think that's the main thing. And I think when it comes to McGregor, that's his thing too. Obviously, some of the side effects is that you gain some mass, but I think recovery is one of the most important things. I think that people have realized when it comes to training and fighting in general and fitness in general. If you're to any type of sport, I think recovery, people have brought an emphasis to that the last couple of years, right? Because before it was mainly like, train, barely do like a stretch or something, and then just keep training, right? And I feel like that has changed. I feel like now people focus more on recovery, a lot of, CBD and ice baths and shit like that is, popping this time. So it is interesting to see that guys might not be taking steroids to get bigger and be faster and stronger, but they're taking it to recover faster. And like I said, that might be the McGregor thing, because obviously he had to recover from his injury and his leg kick. So who knows, man? Who knows really? The lines are really blurred. But I'm just going to go out and say I don't think we're going to get a McGregor fight this year. Hopefully. This feels like deja vu, bro, because, oh my God, this feels like deja vu. But I was here last year sitting in this podcast saying something similar to about last year. So that's 2 years already out of someone's career that it's just, it's just stuck. It's just completely stuck. It really puts a taint on the career, I must say. If McGregor would have, fought Khabib, fought Floyd, and then just retired, fought those two fights, I don't know, I forget the order, but then just retire, he still would be considered right now one of the GOATs, in my opinion, just because of the double champ status and, the fantastic knockouts he had and the hype he had. He still would be considered one of the GOATs, But the fact that he just kept going and just kept losing and just hasn't really won, and then you get the injury and then you get the talk of USADA and steroids. It's just not good for your career. It just plays towards your villain side, right? I think McGregor should have retired after he lost to Khabib. I think, yeah, he was still at a good age to keep fighting, but he does not need the money. I mean, people get in fighting for the money to make a living, right? And then he had already achieved greatness. People will get to fighting for those two reasons: for greatness, because you need money, right? Money, people will say, "Oh, I'm not in it for the money," but obviously you are, because you gotta pay bills, you gotta pay your coach. Obviously, you do need to make some living off it, right? You wouldn't fight for free. So greatness and money, that's two, right? He achieved both. He achieved, and there's people that only achieve one. The easiest one to achieve is a greatness, right? If you get to a champ level, I mean, you'll be making some decent money, right? You wouldn't have maybe generational wealth, millions and millions and millions, no, but you'll probably have maybe like 1 or 2 million, laying around, maybe invest in some properties and shit like that, and you'll be at a good, decent spot to be in as far as how the average American lives. You know what I mean? You definitely be in the whatever 5 or 1%, whatever you want to say. I think you'll definitely be in the top classes, but you're not you're not a Conor McGregor level. I mean, you're not gonna have a Lamborghini yacht and fucking flying private jets everywhere, and you're not gonna have that. And people achieve greatness without the money part, right? And McGregor did both. McGregor achieved the greatness by being champ and then being double champ. And then he achieved the money by fighting Floyd, right? And even before that, he was already making good money for the UFC. So he achieved those two things. He should have just retired, bro. He should have said, I did it all. It was a good ride. I made all my money. I'm out. Maybe later down the line, get into boxing or something like that. But I think he should have just retired after he fought Khabib, because ever since then, it's been downhill. It's been downhill. And now, he coached the Ultimate Fighter, which was terrible, terrible show this season. I'm sorry, but it was just ass. I tried watching it. It was ass. I couldn't even get through one episode. And I heard that he wasn't even there for fucking half the show. He was just never there. He was always out partying, doing coke, or at Monaco in the Formula One race. It's just tough. And then, they're supposed to fight, and then you see Instagram stories and you see Michael Chandler, training, working out, working hard. And then you see Conor, he's in a yacht somewhere fucking doing coke and drinking whiskey. So it's tough you just don't see the motivation anymore. You don't see Conor in the gym ready to go. There's a reason why this fight hasn't happened. There's a reason. It's because he's not training. He's just not ready. He's staying in shape, which, he might be doing cardio and working out, but is he sparring? Is he doing drills, right? Is he training twice a day, right? Is he eating clean? I don't think he's doing any of those things. So that's why this fight hasn't happened and probably will not happen this year. Maybe never, bro. Maybe it's one of those things that just never come to fruition and we just kept waiting, right? And then Michael Chandler can fight someone else, Again, who is he going to fight? That division right now is just clogged. McGregor could have come in and maybe, make a little buzz around that division. Maybe fight someone like Gagey, Chandler, Charles. That would be an amazing fight. Maybe McGregor was not going to come back at 55, so that's another thing. Just a lot of things, bro. A lot of things that we don't know of, weight class, when. It's just the uncertainty is what kills me. It's the worst. It's the not knowing. And I'm a huge McGregor fan. I mean, what he achieved in the sport and he was doing it right when I was becoming a fan of the UFC, so it was like just watching it happen live was dope. So it's tough, man. It's tough. I don't really feel bad for him. I think he's made all the money in the world. He should just retire and that's it. But if he does come back, there's some good opportunities there for him. Well. We did it again. Thank you guys for tuning in to yet another episode. I appreciate you for staying all the way through. If you did. If you didn't, that's all right. But again, if you guys want, go ahead and leave a like, leave a comment, and hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.